Our foot is on the gas this morning, and in fact, we have George Woolman, our automotive insider, who is with us this morning, too. And it's somewhat ironic that we have Michael O'Callahan, who is with the Metro Detroit Visitors and Convention Bureau, the Motor City, if you will. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning again.
Morning again.
Will you, Mr. O'Callahan, when you go to talk to the legislators today, what would you like to say to one of them if you get somebody's ear?
Well, I think it's important that they continue to fund Travel Michigan and run the Pure Michigan campaign. It's a great image campaign for the state. Certainly the results have been pretty dramatic this summer, and I'd like to think that some of, not all of that, is tied to that campaign. So I think we'd go over and we'd lobby and ask them to protect promoting the state of Michigan for the purpose of tourism. This is an incredible destination, and as a peninsula, it has, you know, the challenge of there's no traffic passing through here, so you really need to want to come to the area. Mm-hmm. There's an awful lot that people will enjoy and do enjoy when they come to the state of Michigan.
I was with 3 people from Albany, New York this weekend at the Lions game, and they were in town. They were fresh in town. They wanted to know what was Cobo. They said, that place is huge. I said, well, it might get bigger. And they also said they wanted to go to the Henry Ford Museum to see the automotive history, and they wanted to come to the auto show one of these days. So there you have it. There's a perception from Albany, New York about what Detroit and Michigan has to offer.
Those of us who live in the state have our own perception about Detroit and the region.
It's
and
true.
People from outside of the state have a much different vision of what we're all about. You know, Detroit is one of the very few cities in the United States that has professional sports teams. Mm-hmm. Certainly in this state we have all 4 seasons that we're able to enjoy. We had meeting planners in last week helping us with the Cobo issue, and as they looked across the Detroit River at another country. You know, there are not a lot of places in the United States that have as much water as we do. There are a lot of assets that we have, even in the Detroit area, that people outside of our area will never get an opportunity to enjoy.
Did you watch Detroit 187 on ABC last night?
I did.
What was your reaction?
Landmarks.
Yeah.
I thought it was well done. It's another cop show, and I think the attraction for us is the fact that it's filmed down there. And driving around the city, you occasionally run into streets that are closed because they're out there filming. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting. And I hope it's well received. Was the perception of Detroit okay? I think so. Every big city in the United States has troubled neighborhoods, and they have old buildings and knockdown buildings, and so that's nothing new. What people don't know, and I hope the message gets out, is that if you took the footprint of the city of Detroit, as big as that place is, you would be able to take Manhattan, Boston, and San Francisco and put all of them into the city of Detroit. So there's an awful lot of land mass down there, and you know, it's certainly, there's an evolution that's taking place, and I think that 20 years from now, we'll be able to look back and say that there's a lot of positive stuff. Well, I hope we can both meet 20 years from now and sit here and talk about it. I sure hope so.
Okay.
Cup of coffee.
Have fun at the Ryder Cup and in Wales and in Ireland, too. That's a heck of a trip you've got coming up.
Looking forward to it.
All the best to you. Steve Yencich, good hunting today. We'll be talking all morning about travel and tourism with your convention, which gets underway in a few minutes, right?
8:30 on the button. So
Okay.
We certainly appreciate your continuing support, Michael Patrick.
Thank you very much. The Michigan Lodging and Tourism Legislative Conference. Now, when you leave this storefront studio out front, you're going to pass a vehicle that George Woolman, the automotive insider, has driven down. It's not a Ford, though. What are you doing driving a Cadillac?
Well, as a way of introducing all of the 2011 models, especially the ones that are going to make a difference, I borrow a car from time to time, and then I report out on it, and here's a good example of it.
What is that?
Cadillac CTS Coupe, and it's got the V package, which is the 555 horsepower engine. It's got a supercharger on it. You can hear the supercharger every time the engine's running.
Really?
That type of thing, and it's very, very quick. It's a wow car.
How much is it? It looks like the Batmobile.
It's about $62,000.
Mm-hmm. Comfortable?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly very comfortable, and it sticks to the pavement like you've got the tires glued.
The Free Press is talking about Cadillac's 9.4% share of the upscale market, lagging behind Lexus, BMW, and Mercedes. They all have more than 14%. But they're putting out a new sedan and a new marketing effort, and Cadillac's making a game effort to catch up.
That's correct. And I mean, to duplicate this car for the performance aspect of it, you'd have to spend $40,000 more on a German car. So that's where they're coming after it. And if they do it correctly, they'll be able to niche into the marketplace and eventually own it like they did back 35 years ago.
Meanwhile, Lincoln has only 5.7%, and they're now Ford's only luxury brand because you got rid of Volvo and Jaguar and Land Rover.
Correct. And Lincoln is coming with 7 models as well. So that's going to heat up. And, you know, to quote the General Motors marketing tagline, let the best car win. But I will tell you this much. This car here is a winner for people that love performance.
The transportation chief, Ray LaHood, is worried. He thinks that all these features that the automakers are putting in are only serving to distract drivers, and he wants the automotives to do something about it. I don't think he likes the idea of OnStar, for instance, introducing Facebook. He thinks it distracts drivers.
Well, and he may or may not, but I think the auto industry will probably reflect themselves into a position of making sure it doesn't, because if not, Ray LaHood and the group in Washington will come down on him. And I will tell you that there are so many features in this car that if you do not get a good delivery presentation, you're going to be lost.
You won't figure out how to use
Yeah,
it.
you're going to have to really study it.
He says that any features that pull drivers' hands, eyes, or attention away from the road are distraction. He's scolding automakers. He did it yesterday.
Well, of course. Yeah.
How far is too far?
Right, how far is too far, and quite frankly, we should let the market decide.
Okay. Let the market decide something in business? This
other
is
words,
America.
that's
That doesn't
right.
happen, does it? TheAutomotiveInsider.com or VolmanFord.com. He's George Volman. He'll answer your questions about any old kind of car, any old time you want. 14 before the hour, Michael Patrick Shields back in a flash.